Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Scarborough here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. I was sitting here looking at some cards, and I was pondering on doing a chakra reading for Vladimir Putin, for Volodymyr Zelenskyy, and for Joe Biden, just to kind of see. So they're sort of the three major players in what is the situation in the Ukraine at this point anyway. So I thought I would look maybe last year. I was definitely last year at some point. I did a chakra reading on Zelenskyy and Putin, I think, at the time, and that chakra reading was pretty interesting. And if I can, I'll link it down below so you can use it as perhaps that was then, this is now kind of look. I don't know. But anyway, so I picked 7 cards for Vladimir Putin. I am using the Thoth Deck. Couldn't happen to a better deck. I love the Thoth Deck, actually. It's the kind of deck that I like to use when the questions are serious. And this is pretty serious business I'm asking about. And of course, there's the political angle of this, but there's also the archetypical angle, which is the angle that I'm pretty much going to be looking at, and then the energetic angle with the chakras. Now, just as a review, I'll review the chakras. We have 7 major chakras. They line down the center of our bodies. They're associated with certain glands, endocrine glands. They're also associated with different psychological expressions. Different areas of life are associated with the different chakras. So I'll say what they are, and then I'll say the card they came up. So the first card that we look at is the root chakra. Now, the root chakra is the chakra of the earth. It's an earth chakra. And so it's the chakra of how we interact in our physical bodies, perhaps how our relationship to our family, perhaps, or our culture, all sort of in that chakra. It's the clan, it's the clan, right? And so what we get in for him is Aeon, which is the judgment card. It is associated with the Hebrew letter Shin, which is down there, right there, Hebrew letter Shin. And and you can even see it in the card here. Shin is fire. Shin is fire. This is associated with the path that connects the mind with the world, actually, with the earth. It is the path of perpetual life, I think, on the tree of life, associated with the planet Pluto. This is a judgment. So on the physical plane, by his countrymen, he is being judged. He is being judged. The judge, I don't know if you say the jury is out, but he's definitely being judged for his situation. Now, his sacral chakra, which is found in the belly, the lower belly, like by the belly button, that's associated with the element of water, and that chakra deals with our relationships on the physical plane, sexual relationships, relationship to money and power. And we find in that chakra the Magnus, or the magician. So this is somebody who keeps a very, very tight hold on his relationships. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer, I think, with this. But he is somebody who wants ultimate control within his relationships, which, of course, he's a dictator, so it kind of makes sense that he would have that in that place. But a lot of times that need to have it all, so to speak, or to have control in that place comes from a sense of powerlessness. Otherwise, why would you need it, right? On some level. But we're also dealing with the lower chakras. So when you're dealing with the lower chakras, the rules are a little different, because it's, this, it's kind of like the idea of the strong survive, or it's a much more sort of low to the ground energy, right, that we have when we're looking at the lower chakras. So they manifest a little differently than the higher chakras do. In his solar plexus, this is his personal will. This is, I am the captain of my own ship. We have the Four of Wands. This is completion in this deck. I think that we have rams and doves here. Of course, that's symbolic of Aries and Libra, most likely. This is about coming to the table. So there's in his will, is he wants to, I think he's ready to come to the table and make some sort of offer of some sort. But I also feel like this is his last ditch effort to make something of the mess that he's gotten himself into. In his heart chakra, we have the Seven of Pentacles. In this deck, it's called failure. He knows at the core of his heart that he is a failure and that this whole thing was a bad idea. He knows it in his heart. That being said, his throat chakra, we have the High Priestess. The High Priestess is the veil. And so in the throat chakra, this could be the revelation, the uncovering of something hidden, or an ability to keep things hidden. And I would imagine it's a little bit of both. Because he does, he is, it's a dictatorship. So the people aren't getting the information. He's not going to give it to them. So I think he's hiding, and because it's his throat, he's lying. It's lying like a rug to his people. However, that being said, we have the Empress in his third eye. This is a powerful card for the third eye. This card actually sits energetically in the third eye when you put this card on the Tree of Life. In fact, I have a Tree of Life right here. Might as well use it. So you can take the chakras on the Tree of Life, and this would be root, this would be sacral, this is solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown, right? The three, this card, sits right on this path. This is the path to the imaginative intelligence. What it says to me is that in his mind's eye, he has an image of what this is, or what he thinks it is, or what he sees. He has an image. And there's a certain amount of regality to this card. Of course, it's the Empress. She would be regal, especially in this deck, though, because a lot of times she's just depicted in a garden. And while this may be a garden, it's pretty stylized, and we have all these other sort of symbolic things here. He goes back to the Tsar days. He doesn't really want to bring back communism. He wants to bring back the oligarch. I mean, he's done it. I mean, he's done it. It's an oligarchy. It's an overt oligarchy. Of course, in America, we're a covert oligarchy. That's another story. But that's changing because Pluto's going into Aquarius. So the realm, the reign of the oligarchs is almost over. But it's going to take 22 years to get there, because that's how it works. It just doesn't happen overnight. Because then what fun would it be? We wouldn't have any work to do. In the crown, I have The Fool. The Fool. This is his connection to spirit. Honestly, these cards look to me like he's being called back home. That he has done what he has come to do. And it's time for him to go. That's what these cards, having the Fool in the crown chakra, it could be some sort of, the Fool is associated with Uranus, the crown chakra is the head, the mind. Maybe we're looking at an aneurysm or something like that. I feel like there's something sudden happens to his head, and maybe it's something else. So, incidentally, for entertainment purposes only. But I don't think he's much longer. I think that, well, this is certainly where he's at right now. And he's open to new ideas. Suddenly he realizes that he's not like his idea, well, maybe wasn't so good. Heart chakra, the failure card, and he's open to new ideas, which would bode well, because whether they take him out with an aneurysm or he goes to the peace table, and I mean, I can't imagine that it would happen, but I mean, so what? Let's imagine that it happens, right? That he might actually be open to something new. But my sense of it is that he's not going to be able to do that in this body. So that's just my sense of it. So that was the cards I picked on Putin. Now I haven't picked any cards on Zelenskyy, and I will. I'm just going to put these cards back in the deck, all over the deck, and then shuffle it. I'm going to use this deck for Zelenskyy as well. So Volodymyr Zelenskyy, what a story, right? What a story. And from where he was a year ago to where he is now, he is quite the ambassador for democracy, for justice, right? Okay, let's take a look at Volodymyr Zelenskyy, at his chakras. Two, three, four. 6, 7. Okay. His roots. We get interference. I think that he's now getting some pushback, perhaps, from maybe people around him. There's a fine line here between resolving this issue and then being able to protect yourself once the issue is resolved. And making this be a long, protracted war. Now, we see it as a short, at this point, short. We'd like it ended, of course, after 20 years in Afghanistan and how many years in Iraq, and we never get out of countries. And, just from the perspective of the United States, I think. But there's also the perspective of a world that's weary of war and chaos. And so he's walking a fine line between getting what his people need so they won't get decimated, to sort of buying into this constant state of war. That's what it feels like to me. So I think that there may be, or maybe the people of the Ukraine are starting to say, hey, how much longer is this going to go? Can't, the leaders are always put on the hot seat for this stuff. even though he's probably doing his due diligence, right? The Eight of Swords is also fear, and so he has fear. He has fear, and why wouldn't he have fear? This is actually Jupiter in Gemini, and he has a Jupiter in Gemini in his chart. So it's a very powerful planet for him. That's why he's very good. He speaks so many languages, and he's such a good communicator, having that Jupiter in Gemini right at the front of his chart. So there's a lot of input. There's a lot of input that he has to navigate through for his sort of daily, everything he does every day. There's all these like tripwires that he has to, and people he has to appease, and people that he has to, so it's quite the dance. Luckily, he's a good dancer because he won Dancing with the Stars, Ukraine. He's fast on his feet, and he's a smart guy. See his so that was the root chakra, right? That was the family and life, daily life kind of chakra. Now this is his sacral chakra. This is his relationships, and also relationship to money and power. And we have the Prince of Swords. This card is this is a King of Swords in this deck, and so there's he makes relationships, or does relationships, based on his ability to interact with, talk over, you talk it over with, not talk over like Trump talks over everybody. Talking it over. His relationships are based on logic, reason, very logical, very reasoned thinker. Interestingly enough, in his chakra about his relationships, and these are the relationships you have with people who you have sex with, or who you share money with, or who you're going back and forth with money with, of course. And so that he has to ask for all these things from other countries, because the Ukraine doesn't have the ability to do this without the help of others. So he has to really depend on his ability to talk to and interact with. And it's a strength. It's the king. This is somebody who's very good at mediation. This is somebody who's very good at following the letter of the law. Okay. His solar plexus, this is his personal will, And we get the Seven of Swords, the futility card, but it came in ill-disposed. It was upside down. So this says to me that the interference of him getting his way, whatever that means, okay, that could mean the Ukraine with all its borders intact, including Crimea, which I don't know if they'll get Crimea, but including Crimea. And him actually getting his way, the Ace of Swords here, right? So he's on the verge of what seems like a lot of futility is about to end. Let's see his heart chakra. Which with every death, he feels it. With every story he hears, he feels it. The other day, I saw him doing a speech where he talked about, it was a recent speech, how it's not about the feeling anymore. The feelings are all gone. It's what has to be done. So there's this feeling of this having shifted him in a very profound way. But the death card is less about, it is about a death of the ego. And so I think this has been very, and why wouldn't it be? This is his people. He loves his country. And I think he just loves people. I don't, I think even, I think he feels he even feels bad for the Russians who were being, sent on the front. Um, but he realizes that this is annihilation if he doesn't put his heart into it. So he puts his heart into it. His throat chakra, well, Nine of Pentacles, and as I say throat chakra, my throat chakra like closes up. Drink all my tea. This is asking for money. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get everything he wants. Well, it's been committed. I mean, the president was there, right? Now it's like you're gonna get everything you want. But of course, we could be part of the interference patterns that he's feeling. So it's not exactly. I think his commitment to his people is 100% there. I think his commitment to his higher principles may be may have to be a tad bit tarnished because he has to be so asking, right? He's always having to ask something that he shouldn't have to ask for. It shouldn't even be happening. His third eye, he sees with the light. He has clear vision. I can see for miles and miles and miles. He knows what he has to do. He knows the direction he has to take. And the crown, his accessing information from his previous incarnations. He has a South Node in Aries. He has Mars retrograde in Leo. He is, at his core, a soldier. He knows how to be a soldier. He knows how to be a leader. He knows how to win the war, so to speak. His North Node is in Libra along with Pluto. So he's really come in here to wage peace. Wage peace. And his purpose is, because the crown is your connection to spirit, right? It's your connection to spirit. So what information is coming in through that center? And it's a 9. It's about healing. It's about compassion. It's about completion. He's utilizing all the tools in his toolbox to finish this, to get this done. So I feel as though he really is doing well. There is some it's not easy. He's okay though. I think he's okay. I think the interference in the root can be just him not being able to do exactly what he wants to do because he has so many favors that have been asked of other people and things that he has to do. And hopefully it's not to keep the war going, to feed the war machine. That's what I personally hope it doesn't happen with this. But he's aware of it because he mentioned it in the very beginning. He's like, when does it have to be over? Guess when they say it's over. Like, he knew that, to a certain extent, he's making a deal with the devil when it comes to, accepting help from the United States when it comes to arms. I know a lot of people may not like that I said that, but, we are a war economy and war is wrong. And we're not mentally healthy in this country because we're asked to do things that are against our nature or against human nature. Plus, it's a country full of immigrants, refugees, and people who have even been decimated through genocide or slavery. There's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of trauma in America. But there's a lot of trauma in the world. It's just that America's like where all the people from all different places of trauma get to meet up. It's the meetup spot. Now we're going to do Joe Biden. I gotta admire this guy. He tripped again. I know everybody's like freaking out. He tripped up. If I ran up the stairs, I would get halfway up before I tripped. And nobody would wonder why I was tripping either. I hate to tell you. All right, let's do Joe. Let's do Grandpa Joe. That's what I like to call him. Or Grandpa Joe sometimes. But I like him. I like him. I like Joe. I like Bertie better, but you know, what are you gonna do? 7 for Joe. Okay, none of them came out upside down. That's interesting. Although mostly I don't have upside down cards. Root, Joe's root. He's ready to take the. This is the sword that was in the other reading, right? In Zelensky's reading. Wow, he's made a decision. He's made a decision on direction we're taking with this, which I think was going to the Ukrainian 100% backing, right? His solar, his sacral chakra, his relationship to power, sex and money. He's the boss, man. He's the emperor. He's the emperor. He's got a lot of power here too. This is interesting. It's interesting that Zelenskyy had the Prince of Swords there, and the Prince of Swords in this deck is the King of Swords. So that's pretty high, but there's only one card more powerful than the kings, and that's the Emperor. And so he holds all the key here, right? He holds the justice, the sword of justice in this situation. Let's see his solar plexus. Same thing as was in Putin. So I think they're talking. I think they're coming to the table. Yeah, I think things are happening between Putin and Joe that we may not know about. His heart. Wow. He understands him and interesting. Him and Putin have the same energy in their solar plexus, but him and Zelenskyy have the same energy in his heart. This is about understanding what loss is, about what's at stake here, the death of democracy or the death of people, the death of any kind of self-governance. His throat. I don't know, Dark Brandon's out, I think. Everybody making fun of their doddering old fool. This guy packs a punch, a potent punch. You know what I think it is? I think he understands the power that he wields because he's been in government for so long. He understands just how much it matters. And a lot of it is symbolic in a strange sort of way. That's how you inspire people, through symbols, right? Because it transcends, different part of the brain or something. Third eye. This is the strength card called Lust in this deck. He's got a good sense of the power dynamic. He has an ability to see the power dynamic, maybe even before other people. But these are very powerful cards. He is a Scorpio. Let's see the crown. Something is being revealed to him. he has some information that we don't have. He has some information that we don't have. So we don't have everything. We don't have all the information that he has. We don't have all the information that he had to make the decisions that he made. But it does look like, honestly, it does look like we might have some peace negotiation. I would love to see that. And I'm a little bit, reticent to say it because that's what I want. And you're like, oh, you're going to say what you want. But the cards indicate that there is, that it may even be that he made such a strong move that Putin has no other choice but to back down and be done with it, kind of thing. So that's what I see. Oh, that was so very interesting. I should do more of these. All right, guys, have yourself a wonderful evening. Like and subscribe if you would. For those of you who are interested in my Kabbalah work, I am having an introduction to the Kabbalah. It's mostly sort of building blocks, so you can see the structure of the tree and understand how it's been formed and what connects to what and the like. So it's pretty like building block kind of class. So some of it can be a little dry. I try to spice it up a little bit so it's not too dry. But if you want to check that out, you go to my events page on my website, theseedsoftransformation.com, and go to the events page and you can purchase and register and all that stuff. So it starts on the 6th of March. It is going to be on consecutive Monday evenings from 7 to 9 p.m. You don't have to attend the class to get the class. It's just that if you have a question, it gets answered, right? So, all right. So I'll see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Namaste.